Well, we're getting back together as a caucus again over the course of this morning, and Anthony is really going to start the process of Labor's contribution to the conversation the country has to have, which is charting a path out of this crisis. We as an opposition have a range of different jobs in a national crisis like this. We've tried to be as constructive as we possibly could be in providing bipartisan support to the government in fashioning a health and an economic response to the crisis. We obviously have a job to do to hold the government to account, to press for improvements in that response and also press the government on occasions when things go wrong, like, for example, organised crime being able to hack into people's superannuation accounts. But we also have a job in participating in the conversation about how we come out of this crisis, what economic changes we need to make, what lessons we learn from this. For example, the millions of Australian workers who are left without protections, either industrial protections or JobKeeper protection because they're employed on casual or other precarious employment arrangements. So Anthony will be talking about that over the course of this morning to start that conversation.
OK, well, just on that, should JobKeeper or JobSeeker be wound back, given that some businesses will be reopening soon?
Well, we think any idea, and the Deloitte report that was released this morning confirms this, any idea that the economy is going to be able to snap back magically in a few months' time to the position it found itself in before the coronavirus is frankly a fantasy. This is going to be a slow, difficult economic recovery. And we think it's important that the Prime Minister lead and not pretend that the economy is going to be able to snap back and people are going to be able to go back to the way we were later this year. This is going to be slow. It's going to take time. And if we're going to make sure that workers aren't left in a position where suddenly they're not able to pay the mortgage, their employment arrangements are separated, they're pushed back on to a new start arrangement of $40 a day, which I think we now recognise was insufficient to live, then we are going to find this recovery even harder than we already will.
But not just on JobKeeper, should that be wound back?
Well, we think it's important to make sure that JobKeeper keeps pace with the economic recovery. And Deloitte's have made it clear this morning that they don't think the recovery is going to be fast enough, quick enough to see JobKeeper snapped back after 6 months.
So what time frame would you give it?
Well, we need to be flexible. We need to see what type of pace the economic recovery is able to proceed on and how fast different parts of the economy are going to be able to open up. And be flexible about it. That's really the call I think you see in Deloitte's report this morning. That's the call that Labor's been making.
So you think it should continue up until September or perhaps even beyond that?
Well, I think there will be an argument for there to be some flexibility beyond September, depending on the pace of the economic recovery. But Deloitte's report this morning makes clear, I think, what a number of us know as we're talking to businesses in our electorates. This is going to be a slow economic recovery. The way in which the country, the people have been able to deal with this coronavirus has been magnificent. The discipline, the contribution made by Australians has been magnificent. But the economic recovery is going to be slow, it's going to be difficult, and it's important that government provides support to its citizens.
OK, well, Angus Taylor wants a gas-led recovery. Is that something that you'd be for?
Well, I think what business needs is an energy policy that gives them some confidence to invest. Already before the bushfires, before coronavirus, business investment was at some of its lowest rates since the early 1990s. And one of the lessons I think we do take from this crisis, this global health crisis, is the degree to which we've wound down our manufacturing capability over the course of the last several years, particularly seeing our automotive manufacturing industry depart. And the manufacturing industry wants nothing more than a serious energy policy that gives them the confidence to invest. And they've not been getting this under 7 years of Abbott, then Turnbull, then Morrison government. They're certainly not getting it from Angus Taylor.
So could car manufacturing make a return?
Well, I think we need to have a look at our manufacturing capability. We've learned a very clear lesson about the dangers of having supply lines that are so dependent upon the global economy running smoothly. It's not been running smoothly, and we've found ourselves, frankly, stranded with manufacturing capability at the lowest level it's been since World War II.